They said the quarterback battle was under control. What they didn't tell you is what's actually happening behind the scenes in Cleveland. Every single practice shifts the dynamic. And now, three quiet moves just blew the lid off what the team's trying hard to keep under wraps. One rookie is vanishing, another could be showing up out of nowhere, and a decision is looming that could rewrite the future of the Browns' most important position. The real question no one wants to answer? Is this all part of a bold, calculated plan, or the first crack in a dam about to burst? It's always the same story. When a rookie starts drawing too much attention, something suddenly goes wrong. This time, it was silent. Sore shoulder, sidelined, no drama. But anyone who's been around this team knows it runs deeper. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just another fifth-round rookie. He was making noise, drawing comparisons, raising eyebrows, and triggering nerves. Because let's be honest, the name Sanders carries a different weight, inside that locker room and outside it too. Now, with a mysterious shoulder issue, the kid's been pulled from team drills. Officially, it's not a big deal. But losing reps in the most critical phase of the QB competition, that's massive. Kenny Pickett's still nursing a thigh injury. Joe Flacco's steady and getting more time. Dillon Gabriel, drafted way earlier than Sanders, is now getting more snaps. Meanwhile, Sanders is stuck watching, and time is slipping away. This isn't just an injury report. It's a shift in the power structure. With 4 QBs vying for one starting job, and likely only 3 sticking around, every absence is a warning shot. From an investment standpoint, Shedeur's the easiest one to cut. The Browns are more emotionally tied to Flacco. They've logged more time with Pickett. They've got higher hopes pinned to Gabriel. What Sanders has is potential, but barely any room to prove it. Since the moment he dropped in the draft, Shedeur's been swimming upstream. His talent? No question. His work ethic? Top-notch. But the NFL isn't pure meritocracy. It's political survival, and even a minor injury can open the door for the doubters. Internal chatter suggests a quiet trade or outright cut isn't off the table if any team shows even slight interest. It's unlikely, but not impossible. And the longer he stays off the field, the fewer chances he'll have to defend himself. In this league, if you're not seen, you're forgotten. The Browns didn't bet big on him. No special clauses, no clear favoritism, just a real battle. And right now, he's losing it. The question isn't whether he can win this fight anymore. It's whether they'll even let him step back in the ring. While Sanders faces every rookie's nightmare, being sidelined during a make-or-break moment, a new name is starting to buzz behind the scenes in Cleveland. And it's not just fan talk. Trey Lance's performance in the Hall of Fame game didn't go unnoticed. The former number 3rd overall pick flashed that same blend of mobility, arm strength, and field presence that once had teams scrambling to move up for him back in 2021. Sure, it was just preseason. Sure, it was against backups. But it was enough to spark a conversation the Browns have been avoiding publicly. Let's not kid ourselves. None of the current QBs on this roster scream franchise. Pickett's already banged up and has never really strung together consistent play. Flacco's a legend, but he's 40 and runs like a guy pulling a sled. Gabriel and Sanders? Pure upside. And now Sanders is hanging by a thread. The common denominator? Not one of them puts fear in opposing defenses. Trey Lance, though? He's still a mystery. A high-ceiling guy with an uneven track record, sure, but he brings one thing the others don't. Dual threat capability. He makes defenses prep for 2 dimensions. Even if he hasn't fully proven it yet, what he just showed might have been enough to make Cleveland think about pulling the trigger. Sources inside the front office say there's already been feelers sent to the 49ers to gauge what it'd take. And honestly, it wouldn't cost much. Lance isn't starting. He hasn't played much. San Francisco seems ready to move on. The bigger question now is, are the Browns willing to add a 5th quarterback to the room? Or is this just the setup for someone quietly walking out the back door? Either way, just floating Lance's name around puts real pressure on Sanders and Gabriel. If Lance ends up in Ohio, someone's getting shipped out. And in a musical chairs game moving this fast, you don't want to be the one still standing when the music stops. Some people think the next big move in Cleveland is going to be a trade, but anyone paying attention knows this dance started weeks ago, quietly. While everyone's locked in on the obvious QB battles, GM Andrew Berry's been making moves in the shadows, and every move says more than it looks like on paper. Over the last few days, the Browns have added an offensive lineman, picked up another wide receiver, brought in a veteran corner, and kept the rotation rolling, all while national media keeps obsessing over Flacco, Pickett, and Sanders. But every signing points to one thing: depth concerns, and maybe even more than that, a trust issue. The move that raised the most eyebrows? Martin Emerson, one of last season's defensive standouts, missed time, and Cleveland instantly brought in a veteran to cover that hole. That sends a message: no one's safe. Meanwhile, Denzel Ward is publicly pitching Terry McLaurin to come to town. Sounds like locker room fun, but the interest, very real. The Browns know they need more talent, and they're not sitting on their hands. On the practice field, it's not subtle anymore. By day 8 of camp, the defense flat-out dominated. Drops, misfires, no chemistry between quarterbacks and receivers. The only rock? Joe Flacco. And that's a problem, because if your most stable option is 40 and on borrowed time, something's off in the long-term vision. And through all this chaos, Shedeur Sanders is still grinding. But away from the cameras. He shows up early, stays late, gets in extra reps when no one's watching. He knows the spotlight's somewhere else now. That's why he's trying to build his story in the shadows. The problem? That story only works if he gets on the field, and right now, that shoulder injury's blocking his way. When you stack up the roster tweaks, the trade whispers, the messy QB play, and the rise of unexpected leaders, one thing's clear: something's shifting in Cleveland. It's not just about who's going to start. It's about who's going to survive this quiet overhaul and come out the other side wearing the jersey. At the end of the day, what's going on in Cleveland isn't just a quarterback competition. It's an identity reset. Between the injuries, the subtle moves, and the explosive trades that might be around the corner, the Browns are testing more than arms. They're testing mindset. Every practice is a filter. Every silence is intentional. And while most folks are staring at the guy throwing the ball, the real story's unfolding behind the curtain. The question hanging in the air isn't who's going to win the job, it's who's going to weather the storm. And that answer still hasn't come.